gonna get ready to turn off the
Mine,
light.
get ready to turn off the lights, guys.
Hold that.
She's got a dress. Ooh, it's warm.
They're turning up the light. Where's the?
Okay, is everybody on this side, or is
south
this
or on
in the
the
south
floor?
somewhere here? Nobody's out on the outside?
I'm right here.
Did you see this place sit up?
What? Did he just say roaches?
What? No, there's no roaches here. You'd smell them.
Where'd she go? Did she come over?
Just really bad.
Well, yeah. Some's good, some's bad.
Here, let me take
I
it
didn't
down.
say that.
Do you need help getting them pants off?
I told you they were too small. She's probably in there laying down. How do we do that?
Okay, we'll try another EVP session in here. We'll start here, and work our way around, and see what we can come up with.
Who are we talking to? Yeah.
You can just talk randomly to anybody, if anybody is here. There was a George I know of that's come up before, so. EVP session number 2 in the jail area.
Are you here because you murdered someone?
That's it. Good question. I didn't even touch it, so.
What is your name?
Can you get close to that green light again?
Are you here because you're a child molester?
Okay, that's good. Can you turn it off before I ask?
So you like little kids? I take it?
Why are you here?
What is your name?
Where are you from?
Do you prefer boys or girls?
this George?
Got a lot of lights here for you to touch. Thank you. Turn it off now, get away from it.
Please. Is this an all male chair?
I don't believe so.
Women were here too?
I'm sure at one point. Come on, there's a lot of other devices here for you. Can you let us know?
You can always touch Wendy.
I'm game.
The static on your K2 went off.
Are you sorry for the things you've done?
The static on the K2, you mean the ambient
Yeah,
temperature?
ambient temperature.
Ask it again, Nicole.
Are you sorry for the things you've done?
Can you touch that green light again? And welcome Chris into the room.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I got a little pizza for my son. That was weird.
What is your name? Come on, touch that green light again and show Chris.
What year were you charged with your crime? What year were you born?
That's the mass detection pink lights on.
Yep. Oh.
And temperature.
Both of them.
Are you thirsty? Did you hang yourself?
Actually, the cell that Todd's in front of, the gentleman did commit suicide by hanging in there.
What was his name? Do you know?
That I do not know. Wow. Can you step away from this pink light now?
Are you mad?
The hell was that? Did you hear that?
Did their camera that just shut off?
Yeah. Was that anybody in here?
Yeah, was that your camera? Was it sounded like your
I think that
camera.
camera. Was it your camera shut off?
I know you put it upside down, did it shut off? Did it shut off?
It sounds like a cat when it shuts off.
Yeah, it sounded like a. Yeah, it zooms like it's zooming.
You better buy a new camera, man. interesting to have both of those go off like that. And I do have ghost radio too, so we do ghost radio.
What does it mean when it's doing?
Yeah, what's
It's
it
getting
now?
closer.
It's getting close, because that's the newest one I designed. So the pink will be going off here in a second, the closer it gets. You like that box there, don't you? Want it to light up again, go to touch it a little bit more, and you can go to pink again. Just keep on touching it. It's not gonna hurt you.
Mine's out and on.
Your design right there.
Mm-hmm.
Are you here because you murdered someone? Good question. What is your name? Can you get close to that green light again?
Right there, stop that, replay that. It wasn't a cat, it said help.
Oh, that's that camera. That was going on at that time.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Swear to God, things said, sound like it said help.
Oh, it does sound like, but it's definitely that.
Okay, that's good. Can you, okay, turn the light before I ask.
So you like little kids? I take it?
Why are you here?
That's your camera?
That did not
Yeah.
sound like the camera.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It was.
It was.
How many
I
times
think
does
it's
it
going
go
off
on
for a
and
little
off?
bit.
Unless the camera has a mind of its own that keeps on shutting on and off.
Where are you from?
Like a kitten, didn't it?
Hmm?
It's like a
Just-
You
just-
did it again.
Their camera was doing it for a while.
Okay.
Do you prefer boys or girls?
Yours it is.
See, that's the camera.
That's on the camera.
Can you mute those settings on that?
Is this George?
You should be able to mute it.
That's not my camera. Her camera's not even doing nothing.
No, whoever's
now.
camera,
No, no,
she
you
said-
have to recording of it.
That was the playback.
yeah, whoever's camera was doing that, you should be able to mute the sounds on it.
Got a lot of lights here for you to touch. Thank you. Turn it off now, get away from it. Please.
Did you hear that voice, or am I just hearing stuff
I
on
heard
here?
something.
Replay that a couple seconds, don't go back all the way.
I'm sure it won't.
Go back a little further.
Turn it off now, get away from it. Please.
Said no. Did you hear that male's voice? Do it again. Can you turn that K2 off? Just push the button, the face of it.
EVP session number 2 in the jail area. Come on, there's light up.
Watch the time on that one, Todd, so you can go back to it. It was right after you said something. About shutting it off or something.
Turn it off now, get away from it.
Said no.
Yeah. I
I
heard that one.
I actually heard it.
How many seconds into that?
About 3:12 or 3:12.
3:12. Do it one more time without pressing it too hard to go all the way back.
Okay, before 3:12. Turn it off now, get away from it.
Said no.
3:07.
And like that.
Come on, there's a lot of other
The
devices.
sled's not flickering anymore either.
Can you let us know?
You can always touch Wendy.
The state of energy.
Are you sorry for the things you've done?
The static indicator, you mean the ambient temperature?
Yeah. It's gonna get the cold. Are you sorry for the things you've done?
Can you touch that green light again? And welcome Chris into the room.
Of course it ain't know he was recording at that time.
What is your name? Want to touch that green light again and show Chris?
What year were you charged with the crime? What year were you born?
That's the mass detection inquiry time. Yep. Oh, temperature.
It's not getting a little crazy.
Are you thirsty?
That was random.
Well, because I was drinking water every time it went off, so I was like, eh.
Hang yourself?
This one's starting to flicker again.
Actually, the cell that ties in front of the gentleman did commit suicide hanging in there.
What was his name? You know?
I think the girl's like talking to Shay.
Wow. Can you step away from this thing right now?
Well, we know you're in here, and we know you like touching that black box that's in front of me. Can you make it go to pink again? Come on, you can do it. Go all the way to pink. Just grab a hold of that box. If you want to kick it, you can kick it. You can take it into your cell with you if you want. Did you yell out the windows to the kids across the street?
Didn't they yell things at the nuns?
Mm-hmm.
And back way back, they yell stuff out the window at the nuns,
Yep, all the nuns, the school kids.
calling them names and.
Were you part of that?
Flip that K2 back on, push the button up. Well, how much energy do you have? Light them both up again. It's been a while since you've had some visitors, now they're here to visit you. Better show some appreciation.
I'd like to know if you are a male or a female. Make the appropriate light blink.
Pink for female, blue for male. Red for yes, green for no. Or green for yes, red for no.
Were you a bank robber? Or a lover?
Did you murder somebody? Was it self-defense?
You're innocent, right? You miss your family? I've been pretty lonely in here no matter what you did, I can imagine. Did everybody abandon you? This is your time to tell your story. We're here for you.
Just a painted view.
Yeah, I did actually. No, he's lingering there.
Come on, touch the green light, make that light go off, please. Go over and grab a hold of it, it's like a candle. Blow on it.
You look at Ghost Radio if you want.
Yeah.
You guys ever use Ghost Radio?
No, sir, what's Ghost Radio?
Ghost radio is, sorry, CNN Ghost Adventures.
The white noise?
Yep. Yeah. This is an old version. They don't make this one anymore. This is actually one of the better ones. They make the new version is P something or other. What happened was Radio Shack got smart to ghost hunters hacking them. So now they make them inhackable. So the only way you can get a radio is get an old school one, if you can still find these, or like the Ghost Shop and various other ghost hunting outlets have the new version. It's a black version, which doesn't work as well as the older ones. And it's just slightly modified on the inside. There's a simple wire that we cut, and that's it. And they usually sell a $30 radio for $100 on eBay, just by cutting one wire. And what it does is it constantly scans the bandwidth. So like the radio in your car, when you hit the seat button, it goes boop, 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 stops on the strongest channel. These are designed with the modification never to stop. It constantly scans the bandwidth. So with the static, the white noise, which has been known for many years to give spirits energy, and the occasional human voices that do come across the radio stations, this actually becomes an artificial voice box for the disembodied spirits. And we have live one-on-one communication, just as I'm talking to you guys right now. We look for direct responses once again. And I've had 5-minute conversations with spirits through this. It knows names in here. You'll actually get it to where it actually starts dropping the F-bomb. And if anybody knows anything about the FCC will not allow that type of language on the airwaves. So that's where it gets into the paranormal. We get a lot of good answers when we go on investigations with the ghost radio. It's a little monotonous with the white noise. You don't want to listen to it forever. And when you listen to your audio, it just drives you insane after a while. So we use them sparingly. But what makes them interesting, say Todd and I are the only ones in this entire building, and we ask the question, who do you want to speak to in here? And it says Todd. When you're skeptical, say, well, duh, idiot, it's a radio, it's got voices coming across. But what makes it paranormal, and the fact that what is the probability that a radio station within a 50-mile radius of us is going to have Todd's name come across it at that exact same time that I asked that question? It's not going to happen.
Pretty intelligent too, if it chose me over you.
So we'll turn it on. I'm not going to turn it too loud, but you actually want to record this too, or?
Yeah.
Just give it a little bit to warm up. I can start it out. Hello? Can you say hi to everybody? Are you male or female? Can you tell me your name, please? Hey, Jim. Can you say it again, please? What's your name? My name's Chris. Why are you in here? Did you murder someone, yes or no? Might have been a fake job. It's almost not a female again. Can you come closer and talk to us? Whoever is the strongest spirit, can you come closer, please? What are you doing?
It's a prison. I thought it said Dennis.
Do you want out of here? Okay, Jesus or please? I don't know. It's been a while since I listened to this thing.
You too?
Who would you rather talk to, Todd or Chris? Okay, there you go.
You must be pretty damn intelligent.
Yes, I am.
Well, hi, how you doing? Do you want me to sneak you in something? What do you want? Want some smokes? You want a girly magazine? Does it sound like a girl?
I think so. Me too.
Do you want a boily magazine? Or maybe you want a girly magazine. I don't know. I don't judge.
How old are you?
There's definitely a 6 possible in there. I feel like the only way I can make that first part.
You in your 60s?
If you're a 60-year-old lady, you're right up Todd's alley. Can you tell me who the president is? Who's the president? Can you see us?
say my name?
What did it say?
Trisha.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, it is a girl.
The women's section is above us.
Okay, so
This was the men's, the women's is above us.
And that's what's up to Tricia.
How you doing?
And actually they, because the women's is above us, they used to have holes or piping that they actually had to modify and fix because the men would try to look up at the women and the women would try to do stuff and, you know, like flash the men and all that from the different floors and everything. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But you can see how it gets monotonous after a while, I guess, with that static. But when you listen to the audio, you actually pull up stuff that you didn't even hear. And then a lot of stuff that you did hear, and you hear yourself saying what you thought you heard at the time, you're like, oh my God, it's nothing like it. But then with certain audio programs, there's a lot of good free ones on the internet. I myself use ABS Audio Editor, and it's a good free program. You can actually, if you hit them with a high pass filter and Audacity, however you want to say it, that's a good free one too. And you actually can dump stuff in an MP3 format, which is a lot better than WAV format. WAV format, the compression is huge to where MP3, everything's compressed, it's a lot clearer. But if you usually hit your audio with like a high pass filter, low pass filter, you can quiet all that background noise up and make it a lot cleaner. That's typically all I ever do with audio is a high pass, a low pass filter, and it really cleans them up nice. Well, you're a little bit more active than what the gallows is. I think old John Boy was snoozing on us. You know, typically every time I've been in this jail, I've never experienced anything.
no,
So this is
not
kind of
that
active.
much, not that much, both meters going off and the answers to questions.
And maybe this, we did it last October when we did the Halloween edition. I may do it this October, I don't know. We do a lot of first. And we're actually one of the only teams that's actually using an 1877 Edison phonograph. We actually had one recreated from original blueprints. There's only one guy in the whole world that does them, he's out of Connecticut. And just for a recreated Edison tinfoil phonograph is $450. And this is just for trials. We want, you know, years ago nobody thought you could catch spirits on recordings. Well, they proved it with regular cassette tapes. Years later, they get into the digital era, nobody thought you could catch spirit voices on digital. They proved it, we do it all the time now. We want to take everything, all this fancy equipment, $15,000 worth of equipment, we want to go back 135 years, and we want to prove that we can actually capture spirit voices on tinfoil. And anybody knows about Thomas Edison, when he created the phonograph, he stopped creating the tinfoil phonograph to create the light bulb. And during the invention of the light bulb, other people jumped on his patent, and they improved it, and they went to the wax cylinder. So when you go to antique shops and historical societies, you'll see the phonographs, you know, the big horn, and they usually have a blue or black wax cylinder. The tinfoil phonographs that he originally created are far and few in between. He only made a few of them. To find one's almost impossible, and the ones that do have them won't let me touch them. So that's why we had to have one recreated. And this was a different period in our time too with Thomas Edison. He was a celebrity. And every day, basically, people would stop at his house, reporters, and say, hey, Thomas, what are you working on tonight? Or what are you working on lately? And he would tell them. They'd always print it in a newspaper, so it was good publicity for him. And there's one news report that has him quoted as saying that he was creating a phone to the dead. There's never been an example found, there's never been blueprints found. But many theorize the tinfoil phonograph was the beginning of this. And the original first recording that was caught on a tinfoil, if anybody remembers your history classes, which was what? What was the first recording in the world that actually had a voice recorder? Come on, you guys are... Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yeah.
That was the first recorded anything in history, and it made world news, and that's what he captured on tinfoil. So we theorize that with vibrations in the environment, with the paranormal, that we can get that spirit energy to vibrate the same thing that our voice vibrates, which is a little diaphragm inside of that horn, with a needle, record needle, and imprint the spirit energy onto the tinfoil. Now the only problem is, we did trials last October for the public. We invited 130 some people in. It's very tedious. I understand completely why he scratched it, because it sucks when you work with tinfoil and a record needle. So you can imagine that it doesn't work out very well. And it takes a long time to set it up. It lasts for 30 seconds, and you can only replay it about 3 times, and it's destroyed for life. So we actually use today's technology, digital recorders, to record it as we're replaying it. And the one recording, we actually set it up in that doorway right there with the table and everything. And each group that came through, we would do a 30-second recording. And we didn't catch nothing on the tinfoil, but as we were cranking it back, we actually got a spirit screaming when we were playing it back. And you think, when we go into, as investigators, we go into historical locations like this, we say, touch the purple light, touch the red light, touch this. They don't know what the hell that is. They're 140 years old. They have no clue what it is. And when you bring in an old piece of machinery like that, especially into like a Victorian home, an old jail, most of them are going to know what that is. They're going to relate to that. So we hope by bringing that into certain locations that the spirits will relate to that better and actually communicate through it. We may do it 1,000 times and not get anything, but it's that one time that we're looking for it, to where we can actually prove that, yes, you can get spirit voices on tinfoil. I may do it again this year. I'll have to let you guys know. It's just it takes like 15 minutes to set it up for 30 seconds.
We even actually took something, by suggestion too, took something as a candle at one of our investigations.
Yeah, Todd and I, explain that one. That was actually pretty cool.
Where, we had all the lights going and all that, and we between Chris and I and the client, we were talking, and it was that, maybe they don't know what the lights are, since we're talking 120 years ago or whatever, so we actually just brought out a candle. And we had the K2 right next to the candle, and the K2 and the candle were almost simultaneously going off.
Yep. The candle would actually, the flame would actually like curve and go up and then drop back down, and then the K2 would light up all the way. And every time the K2 would light up, and then the candle would go whoop, and then back down again. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
And it was inside somebody's living room, and there was no breeze, the windows were all shut and everything, and it was almost simultaneous that they were, so they obviously knew the candle and not so much the K2, so
Yeah.
just trial and error type of thing on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing as many investigations as we have. Like I explained in the briefing, we still don't know everything. And it's just, you keep on pushing yourself, you push your comfort zones, you push, what your own, belief system is. And we're working, doing trials with, I don't know if anybody's heard the Devil's Toy Box. We actually created one, and it's 12-inch mirrors that face inward into a perfect cube. And we wire an LED light inside of it to where it's illuminated. Then we stick an internal mic onto the box, which the internal mics, they used to use them back in the old days, when you had the regular rotary phones, hand phones. In order to record conversations, there was the type of suction cup microphone that went on the old phones. Well, we use it to listen to what's inside the box. And the belief behind the Devil's Toy Box is it creates an energy loop. And many people believe that spirits can go in and out of mirrors. But what this causes is when the spirits go into it, they see their image, they turn, they see their image, they turn, and you kind of get the idea. It's a cube of mirrors, and they get stuck in there. It just creates a complete energy loop in there, and they can't get back out of it. The only thing we haven't figured out is what the hell to do with the box once they're in there.
Store in Chris's
In my basement. So the day I move and you see 55 mirror boxes in there, they'll be like, what the hell is this guy doing? Just don't crack any of them. Helped a little bit more sensitive because of different board that I use in it, so that's probably why it's kind of wigging out a little bit. So, I mean, it's been doing this the whole time. I wouldn't consider this paranormal at all. It's just,
But it was just open.
yeah, when it hits the pink, that's definite detection. Right now, it's just doing something funky. And it's just, as soon as all this activity came, it goes just as quick.
Right.
I'm sure you guys have experienced that, paranormal only lasts for a few seconds, maybe a couple minutes if you're really lucky, and it's a hit or miss. That's why you try to use as much equipment as you possibly can. Because there'll be days that, the sled will work perfect, and then next investigation won't work at all, and then the K2's going crazy the entire time.
You guys that have recorders wanna try your own AVP sessions in the jail cell or anything like that, feel free to, we'll be quiet if you wanna try something on your own.
And believe it or not, like we said earlier, it doesn't matter the type of question. We've asked ridiculous questions over the years, and even bathroom-related questions, you will get responses. Carlos, when we were doing, and we're actually doing it as a charity event this year too, which if you guys ever want to go to Cleveland, it's amazing. It's the death train out there. It was the Lackawanna, had about 15 train cars on it. I'll give you a quick synopsis of what happened. In 1943, there's a derailment. There's a lack of communication between the rail workers. The Lackawanna thought the track was cleared. The track was not cleared. This is the big steam locomotives with the huge boilers, which was flipped over on its side. As the Lackawanna came in, the first 5 cars derailed. The 6th car, which is the number 62, which is in Cleveland, actually sideswiped the boiler. As it sideswiped the boiler, filled with passengers, it split open the boiler, which blew out all the windows inside the car with scalding hot steam. It scalded 26 people immediately from the inside out. It cooked them.
Oh my God.
2 days later, 2 more people died. So a total of 28 people had perished in that car. They've restored it. They restored the windows 4 times. To this day, the windows still slam as if the spirits are trying to keep out the hot steam. And we have some pretty intense experiences in that. You definitely do not want to be in that train car by yourself. But we'll actually allow you in there by yourself if you're brave enough. The car
Do they do tours in that? Or things
we
that
host the tours out there. We'll do that in October. So if you get one of our business cards and get on our events calendar, we have the dates
Some
listed.
Things to do in October, huh?
Yeah, we have a lot of charities in October.
You don't do everything on Friday night, do you?
No, those are gonna be, no, we do this on Friday nights, just how things were set up, because we were keeping Saturdays open for clients and other things.
Because I was thinking, I work second shift, right?
Yeah, because this is a quarterly thing that we do, so we set it up like that. But in October, it's gonna be all weekend stuff, and we're actually doing the Bellevue trains. And believe it or not, these train yards are extremely active, and I would highly recommend you guys experiencing that. It's worth the trip to Cleveland. And it's not that expensive. Anything that we raise, we don't keep any of it. We give it right back to the Historical Society. In the last 7.5 years, we've helped raise over $18,000 for charities.
Wow.
So, the celebrity that we got for being on TV, we help draw people in, because they're like, oh, we want to see them, blah, 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 blah. And we use that to our advantage because then it helps all the historical societies. Because it's a shame that most people don't even realize they have a historical society in their town. And most historical societies are closing down, and that's your history. You want to preserve that. You want to preserve it for generations. So that's why we like doing these and bringing, all the money that we help raise for the dungeon tours that we do with you guys are directly going into helping restore the dungeon. And when we go down there in the next 2 hours, you'll see all the cells do not have cell doors anymore. Back during the wars, Civil War, Revolutionary War, whatever the wars were going on, they actually took the doors off and melted them down for munition. So the parts of the ceiling are coming down. So all of this, it's a 5-year renovation process with doing these tours to help get enough money to actually restore the dungeon to how it used to be. And that could end up possibly making it even more active, to bring back everything, to bring back how the beds were hung on the walls and the cell doors, and they had slop buckets. There's no bathrooms back in those periods of time. It was just a bucket in a room of like 2 to 4 people, and that's what you use.
Yeah, and they're small.
Very small.
Do you have like a single event that's probably wigged you out the most doing this?
I would say, I mean, I've been scared at investigations. I think every investigation has its own thing that shocks you. I'd say any trains that we've done, I mean, the Bellevue trains are some pretty scary ones. We've seen shadow people in them. But definitely like the Cleveland with the death car, that's got a lot of activity. And then there's another car called the Mount Baxter. That's got an angry woman on it, and we've actually heard her with our own ears say, "Get out." We've caught her on video saying it. If you go on our YouTube, you actually see those videos. It was funny because I was sitting in the one, and you know when you sit down like you guys are now, you get a little too comfortable, your legs start to fall asleep a little bit, and I'm sitting in this train car, and the shades are really hard to open up. They actually clip into little slots all the way up, and you have to press in these little things in the middle, and it's the only way they'll go up, right? And I got all these meters in front of me, and Carlo's down the hall, and he's like, "Hey, can you touch one of those meters in front of Chris?" And I'm like, "Yeah, could you touch this meter?" All of a sudden, that shade flew up by itself. I freaking yelled. All I could do, I couldn't get up because I've been sitting there for too long. So I just like screamed and just pushed back in my seat. But yeah, all of our videos on YouTube they're unedited. When we do our lectures, we have to edit all my cussing out. Because, you know, it's natural response. You know, we could sit here for 3 hours and stare in the cell waiting for a shadow man to appear. And as soon as the shadow man appears, you're going to respond to it.
I saw one.
We saw one at
Victoria. I never thought it freaked me out.
Yeah.
It was lasted like what, for 10 seconds?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I know, you were there.
And we got a couple recordings too.
You know, when we did Moundsville, if you guys ever see everybody raises the prices, though, it really sucks. Moundsville's pretty active. We've done that a few times, and when we asked, why were you in here, what did you do, it actually said, and you know, your typical EVPs are 1, 2 words. It can do a complete sentence, but it's extremely rare. It's typically 1, 2 words. It actually said, "I shot my brother."
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I know you said no phones, but I just want to grab this.
Yeah, you guys ever download the, I know, you downloaded that, didn't you?
Yeah.
The Ghost Radar? You
Oh,
ever guys-
gosh, yes.
That was, yeah, that's.
Something talks to me all the time.
Okay.
That was crazy. I have it on the house and it just constantly says stuff.
We've had, you know, we will never use it with a client, you know, or anything high profile. But there are some interesting things that come across that app that you can't really explain.
We had a really weird thing.
Come here, listen to this. This is from the reform board.
I gotta work at, I gotta get to work. I wish I could do 6 in a row.
Yeah, we got you here